in honor of an ambassador who's leaving the country. It's a very rare thing. I actually don't have any recollection of it myself. And so when the Prime Cabinet Secretary, when His Excellency Prime Cabinet Secretary received news of your leaving, he instructed me to put together this dinner in your honor. I think that is a very clear testament of the importance that we attach not just to your country, which is a great, great, great country, but also to you, Ambassador Pingjian. Because over the last couple of years that you have been on this tour of duty, you have been a great friend of the Republic of Kenya. It is our view that you have done so much to advance a relationship that was already strong and was already at various stages of flourishing. But you have, through your leadership, through your commitment, through the level of dedication and the quality of your advice and discernment, you've been able to elevate this relationship to the next level. But more than that, I think you have also been integral in forging relationships at the people-to-people level. You have been a friend to ordinary Kenyans. You have been with us in many areas, the last of which was at a festival far away from Nairobi, where I saw you in the Ma festival. The only thing you were missing was a Masai Rungu, but I thought you were up to the part when you were at that festival. And so you've been absolutely incredible. And during your time here, and my colleagues here will attest to it, I think we have seen so much in terms of tangible deliverables that have gone to demonstrate the practicality, of this relationship. That it's not just talk, it's not just rhetoric, it's practical cooperation. You have also done so much in terms of helping us understand more about how to engage with your great country. A lot of us, were educated and trained sort of in a Western tradition, if you like, all the way from our colonial masters, the United Kingdom. And we have not had enough interaction with your great country. But through you and through the team at the mission, I think we have had occasion then to be able to really bridge that gap. And every day we interact, we feel the care, the compassion, and the commitment and the humanity of the Chinese people and the Chinese leadership, and the goodwill that you have towards our country and towards Africa. And so, Excellencies, we are really gathered here tonight to honor a man who has been a great, great friend of the Republic. And so allow me, Excellency Prime Cabinet Secretary, to ask of my colleagues, to just share just a moment of their experience with Ambassador Pingjian, if you may. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure now to ask Principal Secretary for National Treasury, Dr. Kipto. Let's put our hands together. Thank you very much.
I must admit that it took me by surprise to learn that Ambassador Pingjian is leaving, because we were together 2 weeks ago in my office, and he never gave me the slightest indication that he was about to leave. But I want to speak on behalf of my colleagues at the National Treasury, and also I believe in the previous dockets that I've served in the environment docket and also in trade, where I served for 4 years. And I want to admit that China, as a country, remains our true friend. And the footprints of Chinese support to Kenya are all over for one to see. At the National Treasury, we truly appreciate. When you look back for the last 60 years, I think it has been a time that our cooperation has been mutually beneficial. When I look at our profile of the support that we have received from our bilateral partners, China ranks top. It's actually our leading bilateral development partner. And could we appreciate, please? I was looking at the figures, I think about 870 billion. We're almost talking of a trillion Kenya shillings in a stock of portfolio of about 10 trillion. But when you exclude domestic, you're talking about a stock of about 5 trillion, and China is almost a quarter of that. And so that is really great. Together with grants, it's also very significant, about 40 billion. And that has also supported us in many fronts. With you, Ambassador, I think in the time I've been at the National Treasury, there's a lot that we have achieved. I think I've been to China twice, or 4 times actually. And over this time, as you leave, we have projects, pipeline projects with Exim Bank, like the ITS, the road, the Northern Bypass, and the Tibet Road, and also the last one is Bosto Dam. And then you also worked with the SCDB, and now we have about 15 roads that are going to be benefiting from support from the CDB. And there are many other projects through PPP, for instance, Expressway. I just want to say that from the 4 pillars of that, the anchor for Chinese foreign policy, under the BRI, there's a good line of projects. Under the Global Development Initiative, we also have a number of projects, and we are beginning to move more also on the same. And then the Global Development, the Global, is it the Security Initiative? And the last one, which is Global Civilization Initiative, where we are talking about bombers of Kenya and others. So I really want to say also that we are looking into getting into the Chinese market, financial market, to tap private capital through the issuance of Panda Bond. And I want to appreciate my colleague here who has served with us at the National Treasury, Mr. Sirima, DG. I think he has been, apart from Gatonga, he has been our ambassador to China from National Treasury. So I really want to wish you all the best, and to just say that at this point in time, we are looking to do more with China. And I was talking to His Excellency PCS that we want to do more with you, and because there's a lot that we can do together, and particularly in the area of private sector. We want to see more private investments coming from China. So we welcome your predecessor, or the one who is going to take over from you, your successor, not predecessor, your successor. But for you, we wish you all the very best in your new endeavors. Thank you very much.
To Dr. Chris' speech when he was speaking, but he never mentioned SGR. So I was like, of all this cooperation, seriously. Confucius Center, I don't know, portfolio of 40 what, but I was wondering where's the anchor project. And this really brings me, and maybe let me also speak, I'm sure on behalf of my colleague. I am not sure, but I don't think there's a ministry that works very closely with the People's Republic of China than the Ministry of Roads and Transport. We have a very close cooperation. The evidence, the manifestation of our friendship and cooperation lies among many other ministries. The Ministry of Roads and Transport should be one of the top ministries. I have like 9 agencies or authorities in my department, I think with the exception of one where we served with Dr. Haron Sirima in the KQ, Kenya Airways board, I think that's the only place I didn't hear China. But from ports, from railways, from systems of transport, from northern corridors, from airports, from civil aviation authorities as our regulators, we have China everywhere. I am a PS who rarely travels, surprisingly. I think because our issues are really domestic. If it's not an accident, it's Makanga somewhere. Me and my colleague, we always have to be around. If he's not commissioning a road somewhere in Pokot, I am busy trying to deal with strike issues. Last year I traveled twice. Once was to China. The other one I had the privilege to accompany the Prime Cabinet Secretary to Congo. This year I have traveled only twice. Of course, once was to China, and the other one was to Japan. So that shows you the friendship that we have had with your office here through our mother ministry, Foreign Affairs, in terms of cooperation, from small little administrative issues of visas to very big issues that always touch on PS Kipto. Today in the morning, my first meeting with Dr. Chris was on China-related issues. You can attest to that. Yeah, we had a meeting in his office, and it was on issues between our government and China through our respective state departments. We appreciate you. I don't know how to say it in English. Let me think. I'm better on it in Swahili. There is an office getting someone and someone getting an office. Yani, in Swahili, I don't know, maybe someone can present to you. Yeah. My heritage is very Swahili. I come from the coastal part, one of your favorite places where you have talked about all the Gedi ruins, and I don't live very far from the Fort Jesus. But in Swahili we say kuna mtu amepata kazi na kuna kazi imepata mtu. Those are very two different things. And I think what the PS was saying on behalf of the CS is that the office got you. You didn't get the office, and that's why we appreciate you. The office translates when there is the right when there's the right office holder. Please don't let me belabor the point because I'll never get it in English. I know a bit in Swahili. Yeah. Asante, Governor. So we appreciate you. I have no doubt. I am not sad because I'm sure I'll see you in China. More or less. I'll see you in Beijing, hopefully by next year. And we can, toast again and, to see how best you can help us, even from headquarters. Now you'll have more appendages with you than being here in Hurlingham. Asante sana.
Our dear colleagues, the Deputy Chief of Staff, members from the Foreign Affairs and the Chinese team, good evening. Your Excellency, the Ambassador, much of what I do has been mentioned by Chris Kipto, because many of the things that brings us together on road infrastructure touches on what Kipto does and what you also do. There is nothing as good as a happy ending. When you mentioned that you've been here for 2 terms, 2008, when we were doing the Thika Superhighway, that time I was the District Works Officer Thika. So we interacted with you, only that you cannot remember me and your team. And I saw when the 3 Chinese companies took the 41-kilometer road in 3 roads. That time, we didn't have a lot of challenges with resources. But during this time when you are exiting, I think you've been a nice encourager to your people. The reason being, we owe your people a lot of money, but you have been massaging them and they have continued to work even when they've not been paid. Something that we have appreciated heavily. You have encouraged them. whenever we speak with them, they have hope because you've given them hope. And we trust that this relationship that has ran for many years, you've been an instrument of change. Encouraging people is one way of supporting an institution. And as we come to the end of your service in your next term or in your second term, there's a lot that we'll always remember you for. You came when we were breaking ground for the expressway. You have gone when the effect of the expressway is well felt by Kenyans. Many other projects that have been accomplished during your season are evidence, like some of my colleagues have said, of what good governance speaks about. So ours, because we may not want to repeat what my colleagues have talked about, is to appreciate the fellowship that you've had with us. For the 2 years that some of us have been in office, we have always felt your warmth in our service. And we look forward for you to enjoy more when you get back to your motherland. And we wish you the very best and success even in your other engagements when you get other assignments. But the impact that you've left behind will never be forgotten. And we praise the good work that you've done. If you are a Christian, like some of us would have ended by saying, to God be the glory. And I think with that, we are grateful, we are honored to have had you, and we look forward for the incoming ambassador, and I'm sure you'll give her tips of how you have negotiated this journey. I was so impressed again when I heard you drive around our countryside. You talked about how you've been in Masai Mara, how you've gone to Lamu, recently to Kwale when we had the Madaraka Day, isn't it? And that is a person who has faith in the security of this country. Not many. Some of your colleagues, when they are moving around, they have the people with the guns around them, but you've been traveling freely. You have faith in this country. So even as you exit, kindly pay us a visit in future, and we'll be more than happy to welcome you. Thank you.
Zhou, Pingjian, our friends from the China Embassy, colleagues, good evening. It's really a great pleasure to be here tonight, I would say, to celebrate one of our great friends through the Ambassador of China in Kenya. My colleague says the relationship is largely represented by the infrastructure side, but I think Kenya is well known as a tech hub in the continent, the Silicon Savannah, and it has positioned Kenya. But when you look at the roots and the foundation, how did we achieve that brand as a country? You look back, the hand and the contribution of the support of China government is very solid. In the early 2000s, when several Chinese companies started going to global, they came to Kenya, and I would say I was more privileged that I was among some of the people who got a chance to work for Chinese companies at a very early age when they entered this market in the year 2000. I had a chance to work in China for a few months, and I had many visits to China. My brother is counting too. I count mine, it could be more than 30 or 40. But Your Excellency, the foundation that China laid for Kenya to be a digital hub in the continent is really something remarkable. We want to really thank the China government through you for that contribution. Since we interacted, you came to Kenya, we've had a number of conversations, and your desire to see Kenya move to the next level, it's been very clear. You've invited a number of us. We've had delicious meals with you. You've shared quite a lot and about how Kenya can move. You've been able to advise us. And one of the important things is that what we call digital economy globally is growing so fast. and the contribution of digital economy to overall economy is increasing. China is the top with 44% of its economy contributed to digital economy. And Your Excellency, you've called me many times to sit and to see how can we unlock for Kenya to move to that level. You shared some of exciting cities that we could learn from. I assure you I'll visit the city you recommended and to learn how we can grow our digital media, how we can develop our content and to be able to utilize that content. There is a recommendation you've always had that if we can combine the Kenyan nature and the China capabilities, we could create something more special. And you've reached out also to my colleagues in the Kenya Film Commission. You've shared the same. And I believe you've sowed seeds that we encourage you to visit Kenya regularly to see how we are progressing, because we will take seriously those comments that you've given us. We are looking forward to move also the digital space to the next level. And we're looking forward to the projects that we've had conversations, advancing the digital infrastructure of our country to the next level, and also collaborating at the next level. Early today, we had a meeting with our minister, the deputy ambassador was there. So it shows how deep our engagement in looking at emerging issues, cybersecurity, AI, and now we can deepen our collaboration. And this is courtesy of your work, which we look forward to taking to the next level. We as Kenya are really admire the progress China has made. And for many emerging nations and countries, especially Africa, we have a brother or a country that we can look forward to, look upon, because you've changed. I went to China towards early 2000, and I could imagine 10 years later, the transformation is unbelievable. So when we look at the initiatives our Kenyan government have, we believe learning and giving the friendship within our generation, we can see a transformation in our country. And we want to make sure we rely on this friendship. From the private sector also of our country, you've really impacted. Some of our big brands, Kenya is known for M-Pesa, but many do not know the real engine driving M-Pesa is also a solution with the support of our friends from China. You've impacted private sector, banking sector, and many other areas of our economy. And we want to deepen this journey. We've seen also industrialization, our colleagues from industry, and this is something Kenya wants to achieve, to see that we start industrializing. In our sector, we started seeing manufacture of fiber, which wasn't there. We visited the factory and we realized the equipments being used now to take Kenya to next level of industrialization is actually from China. And this is an area we want to deepen so that Kenya can accelerate and learn from the great lessons from China. Your Excellency, it's emotional. Thank you very much. We look forward to working with your colleagues, your successor, and giving the friendship. Thank you, my friend. God bless you.
You know, I happen to know about this dinner when we had a discussion with Principal Secretary Singwai much earlier. Because one of my responsibilities that I do at State House is to coordinate the President's foreign engagements. So we collaborate a lot on those matters that touch on the President's agenda, on in terms of who he meets, who meets him. And so we were discussing about the farewell call tomorrow. And he did mention to me, by the way, we are hosting a dinner for him. And I said, please don't miss me on that guest list, because Ambassador is a good man and he has represented his country effectively the way a top diplomat should. And I guess what my colleagues in government have said is a testament of the very good work and partnership and cooperation that the the government of Kenya has had with the People's Republic of China. And this is something that should continue. We've also noted at a much higher level, the president's level, that that partnership has been very close. And the rest of us, the only thing we can do is to make sure we don't lose that partnership, we strengthen it so that we can be able to benefit the people of both countries. From the Office of Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service, we are falling. I want to wish you very well. Our role is to support these gentlemen and ladies, but also to support you when you get stuck. And so we'll continue playing that role, providing that particular support, so that the two countries can be able to serve their people much better and improve relations. I was very glad when I was discussing with you and you're telling me, and I want to attest to it, that you are the first foreign diplomat to have reached and seen and taken pictures of the site where Turkana Boy, the first human full skeleton that was discovered, that is carbon dated 1.5 million years ago, was discovered. So I think that's a very fast one. So even when you go back home, you will be going with that history. And I hope that the governor of Turkana will be able to put a signpost there. I'll remind him that you were the first diplomat to have visited, because this is a very remote area. And if you travel that road, you are indeed wanting to see the potential of this country, because the roads around Lake Turkana are very bad, but there is a huge, huge potential around there. So thank you for having visited. And I look forward to, because China is very strong on protecting archaeology and artifacts and old culture, that we will partner in that particular area, particularly on the plans of the Kenya government to come up with a science park for humanity in future within that region. So thank you so much. I wish you well in your next endeavor, and as you go back home, this should not be the last for us to see you. I am sure I'll see you tomorrow again, but I'm sure next year again our paths are going to meet. So please, let's put our hearts together. We welcome our chief guests for this evening, Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be the only one who has the privilege of having to say something that is written, at least tonight. And it's for a good reason, because this is a moment that perhaps has got a dichotomy of being maybe bitter, sad, but also a sweet and refreshing moment. It has a combination of both. Kenya and China enjoy a comprehensive strategic partnership, which is mutually beneficial, people-centered, and now the cornerstone of our joint vision for building a closer community with a shared future. The main principles are respect for one China policy and non-interference in internal affairs. Kenya recognizes and continues to respect the importance of the one China policy to China. And I had the privilege of not just speaking about it, but signing an agreement on behalf of the government of Kenya with Minister Wang Yi to really endorse and entrench this particular position in the agreements that stand between our two countries. Under your tenure, we had special occasion to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Kenya-China diplomatic relations on 14th December last year. This reconfirmed that our strategic partnership is permanent, mutually beneficial, people-centered, and geared to a win-win situation for the people of Kenya and China. We are also happy that both countries signed a joint vision for building an even closer Kenya-China community with a shared future and institutionalized its implementation mechanism. The joint technical teams will continue to work seamlessly and include advancing modernization and implementation of other areas of the 2024 Beijing FOCAC Summit outcomes. Your Excellency, allow me to highlight some of your key contributions towards strengthening the Kenya-China strategic partnership. First, there were increased high-level visits by both Kenya and China, which is a clear political goodwill to take the strategic partnership to greater heights. Kenya formally joined the 4 initiatives: the Belt and Road Initiative, the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, and the Global Civilization Initiative. Third, Kenya and China now work very closely on human rights issues at the United Nations and other forums, as well as other areas of mutual interest such as candidatures, union, and reform of the United Nations Security Council. You have also been a strong supporter in the call and the reform of the international financial architecture and affordable financing for sustainable development. In fact, it is during your tenure here that Kenya has also formally joined the AIIB Bank. Convergence on climate mitigation is another area to highlight. China, at Kenya's request, approved and signed the financing agreements for 2 billion RMB for project financing, mainly for rural areas. The ITS, which has been mentioned, TVET 3, the Boston Dam, the Nairobi Northern Bypass, have been approved, and we expect financing agreements to be concluded soon. Last month, the government, through the National Treasury, shared the list of priority projects in line with the implementation of the 2024 Beijing FOCAC Summit outcomes. We are confident that Kenya will be prioritized as the implementation of the summit outcomes that are required to get underway. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs headquarters building will soon be up at Upper Hill, following the signing of the exchange of notes between Kenya and China. Then there's the China Cultural Center, which will also be coming up and operational very soon. China has also extended humanitarian aid to Kenya in kind and also financially on various occasions. There are also several cooperation legal instruments and advanced stages in manifestation of the strong strategic partnership between the two countries. We also recognize your personal efforts to support Kenya with medical supplies during the difficult period of COVID-19 pandemic, demonstrating that China is a true friend of Kenya in times of need. Beijing has also, on many occasions, donated in kind and money towards emergencies. You will agree, ladies and gentlemen, with me that these concrete cooperation achievements have been realized because of your personal and your team's commitment to serve your great country, and also the goodwill and support from Beijing. Thank you for cementing the Kenya-China Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. We further commend you for being available whenever we reached out to you on important and urgent matters of mutual interest, while ensuring that both our capitals remained on the same page. We will miss you, but are comfortable that you will join Kenya's friends in Beijing and will continue enhancing our mutual relationship. Please be assured that your successor and embassy team will continue to receive utmost support from the Kenya government for the benefit of our people and countries. In addition, the government will ensure the Chinese community, which has supported attainment of national development priorities, is safe while securing their investments. Your Excellency, as you settle back in Beijing, we trust you will help in including Kenya as a priority in the implementation of 2024 Beijing FOCAC Summit outcomes and the South-to-South cooperation model for many African countries to emulate in the region. Let me conclude by assuring you that Kenya and China will continue to be strong partners at both bilateral and multilateral levels. We hope to see you again and wish you good health, success, and prosperity. Your Excellency, asante sana. On behalf of the people here, on behalf of the government of Kenya, our president is aware that we are here. Tunasema asante sana for being a true friend of Kenya. You have given us a tip already on what to do for early next year. I will not disclose. I think the governor Nanok is also privy to that tip. We shall follow it. It's a good lead. So Nyinyi, don't ask what it is. But he has given us a good lead, and we will want to take it up so that we can build on it as we go into the future. And I just want to support my friends and brothers here that it is important that we continue to see more and more private sector investment from China in our country. And we would be so happy so that we can really entrench this. We want that private sector not just to be in Nairobi. We want to see them in Nakuru, Mombasa, Kilifi, Eldoret, Kakamega, Lodwar. So as they spread in the country and invest in different sectors, that will really, really help in consolidating and cementing our partnership. So thank you, enjoy your meal, but before I sit down, I believe I can invite him to come forward. Your Excellency, this is a great moment for all of us. Please come and say something. Yes, please.
Secretaries, Governor, dear friends, sisters, brothers, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm overwhelmed by this special honor. I wish to thank the Prime Cabinet Secretary, the government, actually, and all of Kenya friends for showing me and the Chinese, the embassy delegation, such a great evening, such a great honor. Now, I think my colleagues may agree with me. We are believing the team which I has is doing a good work, doing a good job. So allow me to just briefly introduce the embassy team to you, which all the wonderful things you mentioned actually are done by them. The Deputy Ambassador, Minister Councillor Zhang, Minister Councillor Zhou, and the Defense Attaché, Senior Colonel Zhou, Councillor Miao, and Councillor Wang there, and Director for Political Affairs, Director for Public Affairs, Director for Consular Affairs, and Director for General Office. So the whole team is here. And I think this special arrangement and your kind words not only warmed my heart, but also their hearts. And as I'm ready for leave, I should say a big, big thank you to you. Without the credence, the support, assistance of the host government, without the support of you, I think my job could be very challenging. But now I'm living with those mixed feelings. But I think as the representative of my great country, I'm fit to the job. But without you, this could not be possible. So on behalf of the embassy, the leadership of the embassy team, I thank you very, very much. But to me, this function is a case in point of diplomacy in action, KE. We are still in the diplomatic week, celebrating 60 years of diplomatic journey of the Republic of Kenya. And I tend to believe, to me, it's a major function during the diplomatic week. We are strengthening bilateral relations. I'm very proud to call myself a good friend of Kenya. As many friends are aware, I was here before. So I'm an eyewitness of the change of Kenya. When I first departed Kenya in 2011, no SGR, no expressway. I think not even the scenic valley, the scenic savanna, and the Konza Technopolis. And even the roads, we had a good discussion, a good talk before. At that time, when I traveled to Masai Mara, at least 10 times, if I'm not saying 20 times, to Masai Mara alone, I still remember the very, very challenging road. But my last visit to Masai Mara was in August this year with my family. We were taking a very, very smooth ride directly to the gate of the mall. And as you are aware, I like to travel across the country. It's a good experience to enjoy the rich culture and interact with the people. I can report to you, I've witnessed significant changes, no matter is infrastructure development or economic development at large. So I see a country is under transformation. I'm saying this, even here, standing here. In 2011, Kapinski is here, but no GTC. So its immediate neighbor is a GTC. So I'm saying this. You may understand why the Chinese are so confident in Kenya. Why more and more Chinese investors are willing to put their investment in Kenya. Because we sense opportunities. We see hope. We witness significant, tangible, sustainable changes. As China's representative here, I'm very proud of your achievement. And on your road to make changes for Kenyans, make transformations for Kenyans, China is one of your reliable partners. And this partnership, by essence, is mutually beneficial. We are supporting each other. And we, in the embassy, and my team can testify, we always talk to the Chinese communities in Kenya. Without the trust of the host government and the host people, how can you have such a good life in Kenya? When I departed in 2011, the number of the Chinese associations here was one. When I arrived this time, 4 years ago, it was almost 20. Today, when I'm ready to leave, it's more than 20. Chinese associations alone, and more Chinese business. So you see, on the basis of mutual benefit, we are so proud. China is being one of your closest partners in bringing about a better life for Kenyans. So I'm very proud. Moving forward, I firmly believe together we can do more, and together we will do more. I'm not going to great analysis about the comparative advantages of each other. I just want to mention one thing. The energy, the time, the efforts you have put into your relations with China. We all know the Prime Cabinet Secretary, serving as the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, just a little bit than 1 year. You had this hat in your head, I think in October last year, and you paid the official visit to China early this year in January. And you were in Beijing for the FOCAC ministerial meeting, and you were with the president for the official visit and attending the FOCAC summit. And you received so many Chinese delegations, government, party, business. You put a lot of invaluable energy, efforts in it. And I think our principal secretaries here and the governor all have been to China during the past at least 2 years. My PS, PS COA, I think official visits twice, and with the president twice. Kenya has so many countries to cover. And yesterday, I got the number from the PCS in KICC and immediately shared with my colleagues in the embassy. There are 109 foreign missions here, 148 intergovernmental agencies, representatives here. And we are so fortunate to have an undue share of your time, of your energy. And I think the governor, the deputy chief of, was with the president in Beijing. I think PS Kipto many times, PS Mohammed many times, and PS Mboga many times. Even the summit, PS Tanoi, even before serving as a PS, and your ambassador to China, the DG. And I should say, where is my DDG, Valozi, Jane? I should say, you know, she covers many countries. But whenever there is something from the Chinese embassy, we received immediate response, even during this super busy diplomatic week. And when I mentioned the Kenya Diplomacy in Action, KE, I think ambassador, my ambassador, because we were the alumni of the same university, Ambassador Lucy. What I'm saying is, and other friends who are here today, you spent a lot of invaluable time in fostering Kenya's relations with China. And I believe you have put some good investment in it, because we believe China is a good friend of Kenya. So with your attention and energy, I have no doubt together we can do more, and we will do more. Not only you have put a lot of investment in it, His Excellency the President himself. I'm really pleased to note, under the strategic guidance and personal attention of President Ruto and President Xi, our bilateral relationship is in its best shape in history. During the engagements, the two heads of state have developed deep, cordial friendship, and this will go a long way in our bilateral exchange and cooperation. And I cannot miss your reception of the Chinese delegation. Today's one, the minister you received, actually was sitting with us at the table for the welcome ceremony for the FOCAC summit. And he got a good argument to visit Kenya, because he was sitting with the Kenya delegation inside the great hall of the people. So that is a first visit by ICT minister, ICT minister here. And the recent high-level party visit by Mr. Li Xi, I tried to share with some friends. From that visit, the message the embassy received was Beijing really values its strategic partnership with Kenya. His visit was is the ever first the visit at the most senior level in China to visit one African country of this FOCAC summit. And actually, with these joint efforts, we are actively implementing the FOCAC summit outcome. So we can do more. We will do more. And you have a goodwill ambassador always in me. I would be remiss if I didn't thank you very much for Kenya's support to China during the past 60 years, and as an eyewitness, particularly during the past 4 years, when I served as a representative of China. The PCS has just mentioned Kenya's firm commitment to the One China policy, One China principle. We highly appreciate this principled position. And Kenya supports China in many other international fora. And my feeling is, if there is any request from China, Kenya, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has taken it very seriously. And we always received the invaluable support. So I firmly believe it's a relationship between brothers. It's a relationship deep-rooted in mutual benefit. As I'm leaving, I can assure you, for China-Kenya friendship, in me, always a cheerleader, always a goodwill ambassador. To conclude, I still want to, on behalf of all my colleagues, to appreciate this very special evening for us. We don't take it lightly, because it's not only the greatest honor to the ambassador, to the embassy team, but also a recognition of a great friend of Kenya, and that is my great motherland, the People's Republic of China. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much.